Happy birthday, brother.
Well done, Bolling.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, my friend.
All righty, folks. Big day on Wall Street, as they say. As Gruber pointed out, there is some sort of framework in place for a deal with China so that Trump doesn't have to slap that extra 100% tariff on top of the 45% tariff he's got on China right now. Again, folks, love it or hate it, love me or hate me, I will tell you, markets hate tariffs. And when you can remove a tariff, good things happen. Look at that. Look at that Nasdaq number. Oh my gosh, 432 points in the Nasdaq. Very, very good across the board. Gold backed off. Oil backed off a touch. Keep your eye on oil. We like to see that under 60. Crypto had a very good day, and I think crypto had a good day because Friday's inflation number showed that the Fed will likely lower interest rates this week, which is always going to be good for the cryptocurrency markets, and all of them across the board had a very, very nice day. All righty, my next guest says we need good patriots in elected offices across the country that will stand up and fight for American values. He's announced his candidacy to run for Congress representing Arizona's 5th congressional district. Happy to have retired Pinal County Sheriff Mark Lamb with us. Sheriff, we've been talking to you for a long time. I've always said you'd be wonderful in an elected official seat. You're looking at the 5th district. This is the seat that's being vacated by Andy Biggs, who wants to run for governor of the state of Arizona. Tell us about your plan.
Well, Eric, thanks for having me back on, and I appreciate you and the kind words. Yeah, look, we've got to fill that seat with another great conservative. Andy Biggs has been one of the strongest conservatives in Washington, D.C. He's got a great conservative voting record. This CD5 is not only an anchor for Arizona, but it's an anchor for this country. It is such a great district. And what we need are those politicians in DC, not politicians. We need Americans who are unapologetic and unafraid to stand up for what this country was built on, which is God, family, and freedom. I love America. I love our history, our birthright. And honestly, as much as I would have liked to have walked away from politics, I just couldn't walk away from the fight. President Trump needs help. We've still got to fix this immigration border issue. He's done a great job getting it to this point. Now we got to get some long-term fixes in place. Not to mention we got water, economy, so many other issues. And I would be honored to be able to serve the people of Congressional District 5 from Arizona in Washington, D.C. and try to fill those shoes that Andy Biggs has left there.
That is a very, very solid red district, which is great. I'm thrilled that you're likely going to jump into that seat. My question, bigger picture, the state of Arizona has become purple of late. Now, here's a very, very difficult question. With the assassination, there was rumors that Charlie Kirk at one point may run for governor. With his assassination, and does that change the dynamic of the voting electorate in the state of Arizona right now? In other words, will that maybe this somehow be a silver lining? The assassination of Charlie may bring voters back to the reality of common sense. Conservatism works better than whatever they're trying on the left.
Yeah, Eric, that's a good point. And I think it has had an impact. Here's the problem with politics. Politics is very fickle and short memory. We forget that COVID, what these folks did to us in COVID, we're already kind of forgetting what the Biden administration did with the border, allowing all these people to come in here. And I hope that Americans do remember what happened to Charlie Kirk, somebody who was out there defending, like I was talking about, God, family, freedom, the values that America was built on. And I think Americans are going to remember that. Turning Point has done an amazing job of increasing the amount of Republican registrations in the state of Arizona. And I think they're going to continue to do that. So by the election time next year, I think we'll be in an even stronger position. Make no mistake about it, while our politics look purple, it is a red state. We have more Republicans that are registered than Democrats, and that number will increase. I think that Andy Biggs is poised very well to win the primary, and I think he will go on to win the general election because the people of Arizona, we don't feel like we've been served very well over the last few years, and we certainly have not. We could use a conservative like Andy in the office.
Sheriff, District 5 is not a border district, but it's just north of the border, and that tends to get a lot of folks that come across the border get through that first one and end up in your district. How do you plan to attack and how do you plan to assist ICE in making sure we send those folks back?
Well, first of all, they need a voice that stands up for them. How many people are out there standing up for ICE right now while they're doing the job that Congress set forth for them? Not just ICE. We have a crime problem in this country. We have politicians who continue to defend the indefensible. They're defending criminals. They're defending people that are in this country illegally. I think they're violating federal law, which says under 1324 that you cannot shield, harbor, or conceal anybody you know to be in this country illegally, which I think is exactly what sanctuary cities are. So we need people like myself who have been in the foxholes on these immigration issues and crime and so many other important issues. And I've been right there side by side with President Trump and so many other people that have stood up and had a strong voice for it. So I hope that I can get there. Obviously, that's right in my wheelhouse. We've got to do something. Even though this district, like you said, Eric, was not in there, we had them coming around the highways and dropping right down into the heart of this district. And we had pursuits all the time that ran right through this district, even though it's 100+ miles from the border. So we got a lot of work to do. They've done great work so far. And I hope to be able to solidify this great work with some legislation. And we need it to come from the Republican side.
Yeah, we need that. We need Arizona to get red again. My whole entirety of my political awareness career, it was red, and over the last couple of cycles, it became purplish. I can't figure out why, but guys like you will change that. Sheriff, take a look at this. ICE agents, well, they're being attacked, and Democrat Congressman Robert Garcia of California said Democrats in the House Oversight Committee plan to launch a tracker on its website to monitor the administration's immigration enforcement actions, essentially like a master ICE agent tracker, almost like a GPS, a sticking GPS on ICE agents. I can't imagine the danger that they're going to put these folks in, but take a look at this.
I shared this with the mayor. Over the course of the next couple of weeks, the Oversight Committee will be launching on their website a master ICE tracker where we're going to be essentially tracking every single instance that we can verify that the community will be able to send us information on.
Now, I happen to know that there is criminal code, there's law in the books that says if you inhibit the agencies, certain agencies from doing their job, it's criminal. Why is this not criminal?
Yeah. It should be criminal. I think it is criminal, Eric. This is shielding. This is harboring. This is concealing. And this is obstructing what the federal government has been tasked to do by the voters and by Congress. These folks continue to get mad, but this guy who's up there talking is part of the group that has not, they're the ones that put these laws in place. This is exactly what I'm talking about. And not only that, their rhetoric has been dangerous, Eric. It has increased assaults on our federal partners over around 1,000%. That is unacceptable. And what we get is more of this from these guys who are supposed to be defending. I find it, frankly, somewhat treasonous, and I certainly find it anti-American that you would defend people who are not Americans versus actually defending the people who are constituents and American citizens. Like these are some of the major reasons I'm running, Eric, is because we've got to get common sense back in Washington, D.C. And hopefully anybody listening to you'll come support me at marklam.us, marklam.us. I would love to have your support. We need more cowboy hats and belt buckles in Washington, D.C. And bring some common sense with us.
We need more cowboy hats, belt buckles, and former law enforcement people in elected official seats, because you guys know who the real criminals are and who the victims are. For some reason, Democrats have that narrative flipped on its ear. You're going to MC an event, Big Blue Bash at Mar-a-Lago on Veterans Day. I believe it's November 11/11, if I'm not mistaken. Tell us about that, if you do, sir.
Well, look, the federal agents can't speak for themselves. So in the media, I've been a strong voice for our federal partners. And this Big Blue Bash is to help out those federal law enforcement agents who lose their life in the line of duty. We want to support them and their families. Also, this gives us, more ability to go around. Law enforcement today wants to get in and be able to ride around with our federal partners and show and get the narrative right, instead of letting the left media and the haters and the anti-Americans and the communists in this country go out and spew their message and set the narrative on our law enforcement. I think this is going to be a great event. It's star-studded. I'm blessed to be the MC. I don't know how that happened, but I'm going to be the MC, and I think it's going to be a great night. But all the proceeds are going to go to supporting law enforcement families of the federal law enforcement officers who lose their lives in the line of duty.
What an honorable event. And please, please give the best to all those folks from us and thank them for our freedom and for our safety when it comes to law enforcement. Sheriff Lamb, we wish you the very much best of luck, but you'll be back with us before the election. So good talking to you, sir. Thank you.
Thanks, Eric. Good talking to you too as well. God bless.
You too. All right, folks, every choice we make is an opportunity to stand up for freedom, even something as simple as your cell phone service. Here's the truth. Most cell phone providers don't care about you. They just want your money. Patriot Mobile is different, though. For over 12 years, they've stood with Americans who believe in faith, family, and freedom, kind of just like what Sheriff Lamb just was pointing out. Contributing millions of dollars they do to Christian conservative causes. The best part is, with Patriot Mobile, you don't have to sacrifice quality or service. Patriot Mobile offers premium access to all 3 major U.S. networks, so you'll never have to worry about coverage. Think switching is complicated? It's not. Keep your number, keep your phone, or upgrade. Doesn't matter. Patriot Mobile's 100% US-based team will get you activated in just minutes. Stuck in a contract or still owe money on your phone? No problem. They even have a contract buyout program. What are you waiting for? Go to patriotmobile.com/RAV or call this number, 972-PATRIOT, 972-PATRIOT. And by the way, use promo code RAV for a free month of service. Switch today. That's patriotmobile.com/RAV or call 972-PATRIOT. Already something I'm very proud about. Something I'm extremely proud about. This show is blowing up on YouTube. I want you to see it. Here's a little piece of a guy who broke his back, college football player at Auburn, going to be a pro ball player, breaks his back, down on his luck, figures it out, finds his edge. Watch. So
Now, when I was in Miami, I'm broke.
You know poverty.
Yeah, no, right. I'm broke in Miami. I'm not. I'm actually, the interesting story, when I came down to Miami, my Nissan Maxima, both tires blew, and I didn't have money to get new tires, so I walked everywhere. And actually, I was in the best shape of my life. Then I was broke and I couldn't afford food, so I swear to God, I ate tuna out of a can from Walgreens and almonds every day. So I'd eat like 2 or 3 cans with a handful of almonds every day. This lasted for like 16 weeks, and I just kept stacking paper.
Show is growing 100 times faster than the average brand new YouTube show. So just hit that number, that full screen right there with your phone, with your camera. If you open up your camera, hit the yellow subscribe button right there. It'll take you right there. Always going to be free. Or you can go to youtube.com/@EricBollingTheEdge. youtube.com/@EricBollingTheEdge. It's off the charts growing, and it's because of you. And I want to thank you for your viewership, for your support, and for your subscription. We'll be back 2.5 minutes.